Well, as mentioned, I'm back again, and I'm here to tell you more about how you can come up with evaluative points, whether in your essay, right, as part of your summative conclusion, or in your higher order case studies. So one way to remember or to approach this is to remember that in your summative conclusion, you try to choose one side. So in your body paragraphs, you would presumably have two sides. Why? Because we are looking at 8-mark case studies, 10-mark case studies, or 15-mark of an essay, which typically start with the word discuss. Discuss means you need two-sided analysis. So your final summative conclusion is when you pick one side. But we cannot pick one side and totally ignore the other side. So the trick here is to try to present your stand along certain contexts. You could say, okay, if the question is about whether policy A or policy B is better, we will say policy A is most effective given certain contexts, given certain conditions, whereas policy B is more effective given certain conditions. So what are these conditions? They could relate to the root cause of the problem, long run, short run analysis, nature or state of the economy, and so on. Okay, so if you want a list of points to consider, you could use N, S, G, R, T, E, 6 points altogether. So an easy way to remember is never stop growing, reach the end. Or never stop getting ready to excel. So these are ways to remember the 6 points. What are the 6 points? N stands for nature of the, depending on what the question is. If it's a macro question, nature of the economy. Is the economy import reliant, export driven? Big K, small k? Those are points you can consider. If this is a DDSS question, you'll be looking at nature of the market. What's the PED? What's the PES in this market? If it's a firms and decision question, you'll be looking at the nature of the firm. Is it an oligopoly where you have price rigidity, you have supernormal profits, or is it an MC firm which only has normal profits? And of course, this will impact your analysis, right? So that is N, followed by S. S is more for macroecons. It refers to the state of the economy. Is the economy near full employment? What is the current state of expectations? Does the government have sufficient budget? Okay, so these are some points. Again, they can be used to contextualize your stand. G stands for the government's role, the role of the government. This is more for questions where they ask you for the impact of an event on the economy. So if you're talking about adverse impacts, you could end off by saying how adverse these impacts are depends on the role of the government. The government primarily comes out with counteracting measures to mitigate some of these impacts. T stands for time. So you can look at long run, short run, and how your analysis would differ. Many of you are familiar with this, okay? R stands for root cause of the problem. So root cause of the problem usually affects questions on policy effectiveness, okay? Like a tax is more effective if you're talking about negative externalities. Campaigns are more effective if you're trying to deal with info failure. Finally, E refers to evidence from the extract. This really depends on what the extract is telling you, and if you can find specific context from the extract to split your stand, go ahead and do that, okay? So in my lessons, I have quite a few of these examples, and we will use the same approach, NSGRTE, to come up with a summative conclusion, okay? So that's all for this rather long video. That's it.